hello. Well, welcome to my storage unit. Yeah, well, can I help you? What was that? You want me to tell you a story? Oh, I would love to tell you a story. I have many stories. Well, let's see. Well, definitely come on in and find a place to sit down and let me think. What story could... Oh, I know what story I could tell you. Okay, so are you listening? All right. So as I like to start all my stories, I start them with once upon a time, a long, long time ago. Well, actually, this one wasn't so long ago because it's a story about Hadassah and Daddy on a date when we were living in the teepee. So at the teepee, a date with Daddy consisted of hiking down the little trail, the path to our fridge. So we had, outside of our property, we rented a little one-horse stall from a neighbor that we converted into a little place to put our refrigerator and our freezer. And so we ran power from that to his shop and paid him $10 a month for it. It was super awesome. It was a little bit of a hike, so about a quarter mile, I think, round trip would be something like that. Well, a date with Daddy would be, the girls would go on little dates with him, and they would walk down the trail, and they would go down to the freezer, and in the freezer we always had something to nosh on. And a lot of times it was a feast item, so like at trumpets, let's say at Yom Teruah at trumpets, I make an apple cake to die for. And of course we don't eat the whole thing, and sometimes I make two, and so we'll put one into the freezer, and then all year long we'll just take little snicks of it, right, little noshes of it. So that's, or we'll have ice cream down there, or they would make cookie batter, dough ice cream, or whatever. They don't just cookie batter. Yeah, they freeze it and they'd go down and nosh on it, and then they walk up the trail together. That was a date. Okay, a lot different pace when you live the way we did. So one day, here's my story, and this basket reminds me of it, because this is the basket that I've had many of these, but this is the basket that we would go shopping to the fridge with. So I would send my girls down and say, okay, I want you to get, butter and, celery and whatever from the fridge, and they would bring back the ingredients in this basket. I love this basket. We had a couple of these throughout the course of our time there. In fact, we had a little rig from the loft to the floor that when the girls were upstairs in the loft, we had this little rig where they would lower the basket and I would put something in it for them, and then they would pull it back up. Super fun. But Hadassah and Daddy went on a little date one day, and she was probably 7, and they go walking down the trail. There's a little stream that you can cross, but we had built a little log swing right there above the stream. The time when they were walking on this particular date, they decided to sit on the swing and overlook the little stream. Now it's winter time, there's a ton of snow, and so the stream is actually flowing really well, and they're sitting on this little swing. It's a log swing, so it's pretty big, and they're overlooking the stream. And all of a sudden, Hadassah looks up. And you got to remember, down the path, across the stream, down the path is where the refrigerator is. So they have to keep going to get to the refrigerator. But up the path, which actually happened to be an animal trail that we built the path on, up the trail comes this animal. She looks up, she goes, "Oh, is that a moose?" And Isaac looks up, and there's a moose that's coming up this trail. It's an animal trail. It used to be an animal trail, so he's just used to continuing on this trail, but it's our trail now, and he's coming up it. And at that moment, they completely forgot about the date. They were just mesmerized by this moose coming up the trail. Super fun story. But that trail was pretty cool. That trail went down to our refrigerator, and in the end, we ended up building a fence, a wire fence, in that area, and with a gate. And one morning Isaac walked down the trail, and there was an imprint of a moose into the wire fence with the hair and everything left, because the moose is just walking up the path that he has walked up forever, and it was his path, and then we come in and take it over. But for the most part, we lived at peace with everything in the woods. But thank you for coming by and listening to a story, and definitely come again, okay? And as I like to end all my stories, I like to end with, and they lived happily ever after. Yes. Yeah. Memories can live happily ever after in your head. It's how you perceive things. It's how you look at things. And I need to remember that today for sure. It's how you, the light of, how does Yahshua say, the light of your eyes is your perspective. It's like how you perceive, you know, are the animals like enjoyable to you when you're living in the mountains, or are you like just totally scared of them, you know? Or how are you going to look at things? And I look at that, it's a beautiful story. And those memories, those stories will live happily ever after in my heart and forever. And some are not so happy, but I have a lot of good ones. So thank you so much for coming by. I hope you come by again. I have more to tell. Bye-bye.